Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to another session of Living World of Darkness, New York by Night, Camarilla venue. Tonight, we find our dear sheriff, Mitchell Limey Rigby, in a yellow cab, travelling through Manhattan at an increased pace as he's paid the cab driver a tip rather. He's wearing his usual dark blue mohair suit, pair of black brogues on his feet, and his usual sort of hat, black knitted tie, white starched shirt, the usual limey stuff. Um, and as the cab pulls into West Side Manhattan, the driver turns off once again and heads towards a theatre which until recently was run down and abandoned. It's not anymore. It has been renovated in some degree. And Limey steps out of the cab, leans into the window, pays the driver a $30 bill. Well, not $30 bill, $10 bill and a $20 bill, you know what I mean? And walks over to the entrance. Upon entering, this is where we'll begin our scene.
As Mr. Limey enters the theater, he notices that it is very busy. There are a lot of kind around. They're talking. There's some sort of soiree. It's obviously being either hired for the night or there's something really big going on. You can't see any posters, but then you notice a simple clipboard that says a party is going on because people got wet. But you don't see signs of the essential.
He looks around and he tries to recognize anybody in the crowd, seeing as he's seen several of the prince's ghouls before. So I'm going to roll my perception alertness to see if I can see anyone.
Good boy.
Thank you very much. Join the camera, ladies and gentlemen. We get positive reinforcement. My friend, that is 2 successes if we're talking regular difficulty or higher.
As you step into the door opening, so to speak, you find yourself almost straightforwardly looking at the prince himself. He's just having a chit-chat, so to speak, with what seems to be kind. He is, however, still dressed in a uniform. But this time it's an American uniform.
Limey, he looks at the uniform. He looks back at the seneschal, and he looks at the people they're speaking to, and he backs off to a respectful distance, but makes sure that the prince can see. Yeah, he backs off and he stands nearby with his phone in one hand, idly texting. He's going to wait for the prince to finish his conversation, and in the meantime, he is also going to roll to see if he can hear any of it, even though he's backed off.
Oh, you can hear them talking.
If those.
It's mostly chit chat. It's he's talking to them as if he knows them already. And you can definitely overhear a few words like they're reacquainting themselves, asking for another meeting somewhere else, some business tips on the stock exchange are being exchanged verbally, as well as there is a discussion and a description of a new boat someone bought. It's all really all about kind interest mostly.
Limey understands why the prince would be having this chat, because one must maintain their influence pools. So he pulls off and just waits for the seneschal to finish the prince rather, to finish his conversation.
The prince doesn't notice him, however, and as soon as one of the kind has stopped speaking, he will simply excuse himself for you and step away from the group and walk over to you, looking very happy that this is happening. That to see you here.
Limey smiles back. Secretly, he's a socialite, so he handles himself with a certain amount of presence in the group, and go for it. He handles himself with a certain amount of eloquence, sort of just nodding to people as they pass. And as the seneschal approaches him, he breaks away from idle small talk with like a young, pretty girl and what looks like her boyfriend, and turns to him and says, "It's wonderful to see you again, Mr. DeWitt."
And good to see you too. You wanted to talk to me. It's always good if people want to talk to me. I have a full room of people that actually want to talk to me. But let's take this upstairs, shall we?
I think that would be best. So.
The prince is making his way through the people that are attending the party. You can actually, as he walks through the crowd, you can actually see two people there which are shaking hands and definitely recently got married, like today. There's actually a party. This is not the prince's party. However, clearly you could sense from the way people were talking and the way people were acting, although this is not his party, some people you could say were definitely there to meet him.
Limey doesn't take this as a shock. The prince would certainly never turn up to a wedding unless it was a very, very dear, very, very old friend. If there wasn't anything in it for him, so he kind of smiles at the shrewd gameplay of the prince, and simply follows behind him like an obedient soldier.
The prince is ascending up the stairs towards a balcony overviewing some of the room where the kind still are. And then he steps through a door. It's a slide door, a double slide door, into another room. It's a smaller room, also used for parties. It has a bar where you can actually see all kinds of drinks, alcoholic beverages, and the likes. And then he just simply he slides out of the chair and takes a seat.
Limey sort of heads towards a chair across the table and pulls it back and sits down himself. And I'm not sure if this is a good time to bring Victor in before we get down to brass tacks.
That's up to you.
Hey, I mean, it's my scene, but I assume the prince would have invited him, and he would have been asked to be invited.
Yeah, he's going to be invited, but you clearly had an appointment, and Bram kind of asked if he could. Oh, sorry. Victor kind of asked if he could talk to the prince, or you requested an audience. And the prince, being the prince, just simply thought, well, we could combine that. But it's up to you. Because you clearly have priority.
Limey seems to get a text on his phone, and he kind of looks at it. It's Victor, he's outside. Okay. Well, in that case, look, I'll text him to come up in a bit, but Prince, I should probably let you know that the situation in the city is rather tenuous at the moment. I mean, we have our holdings, they're nice and safe, but there's a lot of stuff coming at us right now, boss. I warn you that. We've got the Anarchs at Circus Nox. We've got what seem like rogue Anarchs in, it was north of Manhattan in the dockyards. But it's all over the place. These leaflets that came out talking about the revolution of consciousness and all that old bollocks.
Do you have one of those?
I'm not sure. Oh, boss, the leaflets ain't half of it. There
You
was a
can
drug
see
going
the
around.
you can see
Hmm?
the prince's mood darken as you talk about leaflets in his city. He understands, but he's not pleased that they didn't ask permission to release any leaflets in the area.
Oh,
Yeah, you can clearly see that he's not amused, and he's happy that you came to forward with this.
the thing is, the leaflets were one thing. I thought, you know, brother got shot down recently, another brother got strangled to death on these very streets. You dig what I'm saying? Sorry. Do you know what I mean?
I
Like,
understand.
the people were. Hmm?
I
Yes.
understand.
Well, the people are. Thanks, boss. The people, you see, like especially the proletariat, in a very, very angry mood right now with the establishment. So a couple of leaflets didn't shock me, and I thought maybe it's a couple of protesters. Maybe we're going to see some protests on Wall Street again. Worst comes to the worst, we'd use our contacts, filter them out, but that's the thing. I went to one of these raves that I'd heard about. Raves don't really crop up these days. And I went and spoke to one of the dealers there, and they're dealing out these little red pills and little pink pills. Now, a dear friend of mine checked out the vibe you get off of these things, and was very angry. It was a feeling of anger and passion, and some kind of revolutionary, you could say, but all the effects of a strong amphetamine. Now, I knew something was rotten in Denmark, especially seeing as there's anarchs in town at the moment, so I had a friend of mine, Victor in fact, take a look at these pills.
Right.
Inside them, there is blood from a very, very strong Diablo wrist. Very low generation, very powerful, very potent Vitae. And now I can find him, and I'm working on it right now. I'm going to find the supplier of these things. I've got enough feet on the street to be able to sort it, but it's going to take a little time. And in the meantime, the folks at Circus Knox are getting hungry. Now, I'm almost certain this has got nothing to do with Mordecai, but I know she's let people go in this city, and I'm trying to find him, but I can't track him down. We've
Well,
got.
let's say that the Mordecai situation in the service is being dealt with. I mean, they are just not the entertainment I was hoping for. Um, if you can join me tomorrow, as I'm going to see if I can solve this Circus Knox thing on my own. For the new people under us, I will show them what true Camarilla power can do. For others, it's a learning lesson. For those of Mordecai's beliefs, it's going to be something to remember.
Mr. DeWitt, will you allow me to be frank in my sentiment?
You are my sheriff. That's your prerogative.
Now, I understand your logic behind keeping Circus Knox in the city. You want to watch him make a fuck up. You want to make an example. You want to deter anarchs from going to the cause. You want to bring them over to our way of thinking. And I can respect that, being a loyal member of the Camarilla. Thing is, they never cause this much trouble. Their people don't cause this ag. They're hungry, boss. And Victor's supplies only go so far. I'm sending some girls up there, but I'm afraid one of them's going to come back dead. The best thing for us right now would be to have them move to another city.
Do I hear
Very.
pity in the voice of my sheriff? Do I hear sentiment for
Pardon
those
me?
who simply do not believe that strength is the experience we have, not the raving around doing whatever the hell you like because you feel like? Now I especially want you to join me. Tomorrow we'll have a visitor, a visit, and an interesting conversation while doing it. I insist.
Of course.
Tell me more
Yeah.
about those who have been catching your visor. Have you been dealing with the missing campers? So
Yeah, that's another huge problem for us right now, boss.
why?
Well, without permission, I might add. A few of the kindred found a rogue gangrel in the woods. Frenzied frequently, the guy was more animal than human. But they brought him in. Rose, for a scholar, is something of an adept with her particular set of powers. They managed to bring him in now. Myself and Victor had a chat with the man. He's completely intact, but we convinced him he wouldn't be if he didn't tell us the dirt. There's a Sabat pack in town.
Sabat?
Sabat.
Well, that's to be expected.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It turns out there's been like a dispute. All of the various packs that were in the city, ones in the fort in Staten Island, don't look like around anymore. It's this bunch call themselves the Amazing Arseholes. Uh, their last known location was Bloody Britches in Staten Island, but they've moved on from there. Where they are now, who knows? But I do have a name, and I've got a place to go and check it out, and I'll do that as soon as possible. In fact, I'll do that tonight, tomorrow.
Let's solve the Enoch situation first.
It's and I'm not questioning you here, merely asking. Anarchs don't fundamentally want to bring down the Camarilla. They do, but they don't. They tend not to attack us because they know what will happen if they do. The Sabat could be a real problem.
Oh,
Like,
I know.
actually, actively.
I have fought the Sabat before. They are madness with a mission. Sabat's conundrum, and they will feel the wrath of the ivory tower when they can. Soon.
I'm gonna go.
Soon I will show what we can do, just to impress them so they'll stay out. But I assume they already entered the Manhattan, the island. If they are luring you to the other place, to the Staten Island, be ready to be attacked in the back.
I wouldn't expect anything else from the Sabat. I'm gonna go down there low key. Gonna keep myself undercover for a bit. Then
Well,
I'm gonna
you
get
need
old
to
army.
ask. You are the sheriff. Where is this young man right now?
He is in safe hands in the Tremere Chantry.
I want them out of there.
You would like what, sorry?
I want no prisoners in the Tremere Chantry.
In that case, he shall be removed. Perhaps if I invite Victor up and we can discuss the matter with him.
That's a great idea.
Limey will get his phone out and text Victor, who he is rather rudely left waiting, and he's just said, like, come on up. Mr. DeWitt, I'm not sure I'll be able to find his name. Perhaps you'd like to send a retainer, or I can go and fetch him if you like.
No, I'll do it. And he snaps in his fingers, and then from behind the slide door, a man walks in. You've seen this man before. You've seen him dressed as a cop, but now he's more dressed as a well, a valet, so to speak. Someone who's inconspicuous. However, he still has the great moustache you recognize him by. And he whispers in a language to the prince, and the prince answers back in a different language. Not English, that is.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they'll nod to each other, or at least the prince will nod to him to leave. And Victor will downstairs find himself um, actually in between a large wedding party. It's a quite social gathering downstairs. When you arrive, you can definitely see all kinds of people, mostly kind. They're walking around with drinks. There's a young lady offering you a drink, clearly not blood of any kind, but champagne and wine, some jus d'orange, but also some tomato juice with alcohol into it. They call it a Mary.
Victor will very kindly accept a champagne glass and say, "Thank you. Very lovely service, I have to say."
The young lady nods. She's not used to people talking to her. As you can see, you've stepped into a wedding, a gathering of people, but mostly a wedding with all kinds, but mostly kinds that are upper class, so to speak. These are people who are dressed in suits with a nice price tag about it.
Well, Victor's also in a suit, perhaps not that expensive, but nice nonetheless.
Well, they aren't all that expensive. You have all kinds,
Mm-hmm.
but you can clearly pick that up from this party. As you are approached by a man looking like a valet, and he will nod at you, slightly bowing. He recognizes you, and
And I'm sure I recognize him.
you recognize him. Yes, his large moustache is giving it away, as he is asking you in German
Mm-hmm.
to follow him up upstairs.
Kein Problem. He'll follow him upstairs, and we'll make sure to place the champagne glass somewhere off to the side as he makes his way further up.
There are plenty of places where you can see empty and half full and full glasses standing about, even on the stairs, as young people have been sitting on the stairs playing with their phones and talking. As you ascend the stairs, you find yourself on a balcony where you can actually look down on the people below you. Very melodramatic, so to speak. But then you are led to a double slide door, and one of those doors is slid open, and you will see Limey sitting there, opposing the prince, or for you, the seneschal. I don't know if you still know, if you know now. But the prince at the other side, and they're conversing. It seems to be polite conversing, as it comes from the behavior, and you can pick up some words. They're clearly waiting for you.
Victor will sort of stand to attention, not as a soldier, but just stand there, give a polite nod to the two. My prince? My sheriff?
Keeper.
My keeper, please join us.
I will not take much of your time. I have much to do and merely wish to brush upon a particular subject.
Good. Well, sit yourself down, please, and explain your your news item.
He will actually look at the chair and decide not to sit as he remains standing and looks at the prince. It has come to my attention that Fern has been made a ward of Elena Finn.
Ah, right. Yes, that's correct.
However, my prince, I am sure you are not aware of this, but Fern is my progeny.
I was aware that she was connected to you. You were not there, however, when she was brought in. I wanted her to be taken care of and not be in need to go and find you while she was a very bewildered individual, smelling and looking dirty.
Mm-hmm.
So I connected her to someone of her own kind. This was not a slight to you, but simply a matter of putting someone close to someone who can take care of her. If you feel the obligation by your own personal honor to resume teaching her, resume mentorship of her, to make her feel at home as you know her before. Ask Elena, I'm sure she'll be happily depart with her.
All right. I am happy to hear that the manner has been, or the matter has been dealt with. I will not take up any more of your time.
However, Victor, I do have a request, or yes, let's call it a request. And he takes off his hat and he says, I have been informed just recently, so don't get me wrong, that you seem to have a set of prisoners in the Chantry. Is that correct?
There are individuals currently in the Tremere care, indeed. For there was no other place for them to go.
Right. Well, I want you to keep yourself busy with the questions I've asked of you, so the sheriff can be busy with the questions I asked of him, which means I want him to take care of prisoners and the location of those prisoners. This cannot be the Chantry. This will leave too much of a political stress or strain upon the Bruja and the Khmer clan, as well as myself. I don't want to step in between, how they do it.
Does the sheriff have a location?
I can find one overnight. It shouldn't be too difficult.
I'm sure you can.
Then this
However, my prince.
Yeah.
I was going to say that as for political stress, I found that myself and Victor have always maintained a very healthy business relationship.
I know.
The prisoners are incredible. Chantry. However, this isn't me trying to change your decision. I'll find a place.
Wonderful. I'm sure that with the amount of effort Victor has brought into bringing these people down, I'm sure if he wants to question an individual, I'm sure this can be dealt with. Especially the Gangrel I want to talk to. I believe he has broken the masquerade once too many times. You know how that is.
Of course.
Offending our traditions.
Yeah.
So
I figured he might say as much.
I suggest make room for one individual. That is an Arcadian kind, I believe.
You'd like for me to destroy the gangrel then, just to clarify.
Yes. Make him an example. Do it in front of
Consider it done.
people. Do it in front of people so everyone can know there will be no leniency with breaking the traditions. We are dealing with our people amongst our own, and those who trespass will be passed on to the next world.
Of course. So, would you like to be present when it takes place, or shall I just handle this on my own?
I want others to be there. I don't necessarily need to be there. You're the sheriff. Hereby I decree
Right.
it. You have the keeper as a witness. The order is to destroy the subject instantly within a fortnight.
You're the boss.
Yes, I am.
He smiles and nods at him. Not after you.
Is there anything else you need of me?
Yes, well, Victor, I want to inform you that considering the situation with the anarchs, I've decided to take control of the situation, finding it to be it has taken long enough. They have offended enough by being here. I would like you to inform our allies, our true Camarilla people, that this is going to happen.
Is this not a job of the Harpy, my prince?
Oh, yes, very much so. But I have heard news of one of your lackeys, one of your people to be in the circus at this moment.
Yes?
Well, I wouldn't want it to get hurt. That's why I'm saying it. It's a courtesy from me to you. But, do whatever you want with it. If you decide it's not important enough for some, it's fine. However, if she gets hurt, I will not be held accountable.
That is of no import to myself. I'll make sure that she leaves the premises post haste.
Wonderful. I have a meeting with Mordecai tomorrow. She will come by her own accord, just like she did last time. She has become desperate, I heard, having trouble keeping control.
Correct.
It's
That
good
is
for
the
you that
report
you know
I've
well.
been getting. This is pretty much the only reason why one of my retainers is currently at the premises, to make sure that there are no masquerade breaches going on
Well,
in our
that's good
domain.
of you to make sure those things are very much protected. You have my gratitude.
Then, with
There's
your
nothing
permission,
else. There's nothing else I wish of you, Victor. If you wish anything from me,
not at this moment, my prince. And with that, he nods at the two of you again, and will turn around and walk out.
Limey will watch Victor go and then turn back to the prince.
Blimey, I know it's hard for a sheriff to keep tabs on the city. However, we live in a city which demands tabs constantly. I have been well equipped during the years to keep tabs on almost anything, anywhere, and anytime I want within a grand city such as this. And still I find myself without ears among our supernatural colleagues. This is not something you can solve, but it does make me a bit paranoid is what to expect from those areas.
I'm really sorry, mate. You broke up a little bit. Can you repeat the question?
The question is, because he hasn't made the question yet,
Oh, sorry. I thought you had.
no problem. But he leans back in his chair and then says, the question is, however, are we hidden enough and prepared enough for a coming attack? If there is a bot lurking around, these things need to be watched carefully and maybe even stopped before it begins. I do want to attract more people to this city, maybe even warriors. Any kind, really, just people are willing to fight for the Camarilla the right way.
So if I'm honest, I don't think our city is prepared enough. I think we can hold our own. I think we can watch the people we need to watch. I think we can fight off an attack, but we're not as prepared as we should be. Thing is that in Manhattan, I gained my influence. I do have the ability to protect places, and I have the ability to shift people where I need them shifted. Not many of the kin.
At this moment, the prince smiles. It is shifting people. Downstairs is an entire gathering of people I shifted. Like a great chess game, I brought these people together, and they think it's their idea. I need wheels in the city. And I find this city to be troublesome at every corner. I have a warden, I have hounds, I have a competent keeper, I have a competent sheriff, at least I like to think so, and still I come hands short. We are not attracting people, we are losing people. Now, I think we are losing people because they are too weak to handle a diverse and chaotic city like this. I'm trying my very best to attract people. If this cannot happen, if we will stay a very small group, then a Camarilla city we will be. But we will be a small group, almost like a coterie. And if we are going to operate as a coterie, then connections will have to be made between everyone, promises and words given.
Yes, sir.
We are still large enough to be a city. And I don't think that we have any venture within your coterie at the moment.
No, we don't.
Do you have an Alcavian in your coterie? The doctor?
Sorry, mate. I'm not sure if your connection's back, but I'm not hearing much of what you're saying.
The prince asked if the doctor is part of your coterie.
No, she is not. However, she has been seen to be relatively useful.
Really? What has she been done?
Well, I mean, it's early days yet, but I believe she's analysing a few things we've found, a couple of bits of evidence that we have. She's something of a scholar, understands a lot more than most about our condition, if you
Right,
catch what
yes,
I mean.
I heard about her hobby. She considers our condition an illness, while I consider it a blessing.
Well, I'm not sure about no blessings, but I always certainly found it to be an advantage.
Right, I forget that you're still so young.
Well, I don't know. I always was a bit of an old man.
Long, long time ago, Sheriff, I was raised a Christian by my father, as was his father, raising him before him, a Christian, a Catholic Christian.
Yes.
New Age people stop believing in a greater thing than themselves. Unaware, blind. I do believe in a higher power, and I do believe this power has brought me here to help and assist you and all the others.
Really, sir?
The question is, am I doing the right works? That's why tomorrow shall be an example of his works through me.
I need to roll a fake die quickly. Okay. May I ask, sir, what example you intend to set?
I will show you a play, a play of puppets. And we are watching the show like children, interactively, but happily oblivious.
Groovy.
I like that word, groovy.
Oh,
There's a
sorry for the
ring to
language.
it, a ring of peacefulness. Groovy. Anyway,
So-
I want to get back to the party. Is there anything else?
Sir, I did just want to say one more thing. I realise the city ain't a scratch. And I know that things seem to be a little out of control. Right now we're being hit with a lot of stuff. And I can only give you, I suppose, my promise, my word, that it will be sorted. It takes a little time, then I'm sorry. But you didn't make a mistake when you made a choice. I'm going to prove that to you.
Part of the beauty of being in our condition is that we have enough time. However, we're not dealing with our time, we're dealing with the timetables of others.
Ugh, I hate it when that happens, don't you?
I assume that since the gangrel has been apprehended, we have increased or sped up their timetable. especially if they know he's been captured.
Oh, maybe I
It's
didn't
not
make that clearer. There is one thing. This gangrel was banished by the pack. He was trying to carve out an independent living for himself in the woods. Somebody better told him that this was Camarilla territory. That's why he was so keen to give us information.
Slight
Sorry.
oversight, I'm sure.
But that's the thing. He has been so far a valuable source of information. It doesn't look like he's got anything else to tell us, so I'll take him out. But I don't think they know we have him yet.
You presume you don't know. I
He was
presume
banished.
the worst.
You know what's
I presume the worst, that they found out. Even if they haven't, I would like him gone. I would like him gone for two reasons. Reason number one, while he is alive, he is temptation.
Yes.
I want to remove this temptation because it will weaken the ranks that we have.
Cool.
Reason two, why I want him removed is simply because his part in this play had ended.
Right on. And you say you want a crowd. I can get a crowd. Any particular people you want to send a message to?
Anyone Camarilla, that is. However, if there becomes a moment where others are informed that the Camarilla has taken care of business,
Yeah.
then I'm only happy to know they are aware.
As the harpy of the city, I'll make sure they're informed.
Yes. So, have you spoken to the person I had in mind for Harvey, Mr.
Rick Grayson,
Grayson, right?
he wasn't what you'd say keen on the idea. I talked him round to it. But as he is prone to, he's gone dark. We haven't spoken to him in some time. He tends to become a recluse every so often, part of his particular condition, you see.
Well, it's good that he has you to remind me that that's part of his condition. I was close to have him handed to me. I have not spoken nor had his introduction since I entered the city, not as a seneschal and not as a prince. Deal with this situation any way you see fit. I am done with being nice with people that do not respect how things are going within the Camarilla.
Whoa.
Don't
Gosh.
kill him, just bring him.
Yes. Rick Grayson has been a valuable asset to the Camarilla, for what it's worth. For what it's worth, that is.
Well, I think even though he's a very, very valuable asset, he needs to remind himself. I need to remind him about our tradition. Hospitality seemed to be quite an important one, seeing as it's almost at the top.
Yeah. I will bring him to you personally. He gets up out of his seat. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss, my prince?
Yes, one more thing, because I really want to lead this talking. I want these reports to happen more often than they have been. Even if there's nothing, I might have something to say to you. And I don't want to keep contacting you, I want you to be active about it. After all, you are my sheriff.
Of course. I will arrange to meet with you weekly, perhaps.
Right. Weekly. Let's call it once in 2 weeks. I don't want you to miss appointments right off the bat.
Alright, once every 2 weeks. It will be done. So,
I know it will.
in that case, good evening, my prince. He turns on his heel and putting his coat on, sort of slopes out of the room.
As you go downstairs, you will find that the man with the mustache is bringing up a beautiful young lady, red hair, and a nice flowy long dress. The retainer of the prince is walking next to her. She's very, very well dressed. Shame you don't have aspects.
There's a massive shame. Limey will stand, he'll sort of slow down a little and watch him pass with sort of a raised brow before sort of smiling and continuing to walk downstairs. After making a perception roll just to see if I notice anything. I need one success.
I know that this is something you should probably be hiding. So, let's call it performance manipulation. 1, 2. She's not breathing.
She isn't or he isn't?
She isn't.
Oh. So the prince has a lady friend. Limey sort of just raises his brow, sort of smirks, and he carries on walking.
That's where the scene will end, I guess.
Yeah, as Limey gets in, goes outside and gets in a cab, speeds off in the thick snow that is blanketing New York. That is where we'll end our scene. Thank you players for playing, thank you ST for STing, thank you people for watching. Good night.